Hey everybody, good afternoon, and it is Tuesday, so we're finishing our Ask Me Anything. Actually, we're going a little late. We had a few things here, but this is where we answer your questions, anything to do with nutrition, anything to do with your health, any questions that you have, this is the time to ask them, or you can email us at info@strongandhealth, and we'll be happy to go over that and answer it. I'm Dustin Strong, and this is Strong and Health, and we get tons of questions here about multivitamins. Multivitamin question is probably the most common question that I do get in here, and I want to help people have a really practical and complete option. Most of the multivitamins that I see coming in are chock-a-block full of chemicals. They are really synthetic, fractionated things. And in fact, they have all kinds of things in them that I would never put in my body. In fact, one person brought in this one-a-day women's, and the number one ingredient is calcium carbonate. And calcium carbonate, although you can use it in your body, it is not the easiest for your body to use. In fact, that is basically limestone. It takes a lot of chemical reactions to get that to something. Now, a lot of research out there is done on calcium carbonate, and that's why you're gonna see a lot of conflicting research on it and saying, well, calcium is a really bad thing to supplement with, and I would agree with that if it's calcium carbonate. And it's cheap and easily made in a lab, so a lot of these multivitamins are filled with it, and you'll see that it's usually the number one ingredient because they're filling it up with this rock that's easy for them to be able to get. Now, there's also going to be things like aluminum lake and FD&C blue and aluminum lake number 12, and all these different chemicals that have no business being in a multivitamin. So if you're looking at your multivitamin, the very first things I would look at is, are there any chemicals added in there? And second thing is it calcium carbonate the number one ingredient? Because that's going to be filling it up. And I'm seeing this a lot. So this last weekend, the girls from the Skim came through town, and a few people went to that, and they were given this multivitamin. And a lot of people have asked me, well, is this a good multivitamin? So we looked it up, and it's called Ritual Vitamins. Now, I do agree with the message of saying that there are several things that are pretty much missing from the standard American diet. But again, even with this multivitamin, you have to be careful of the form. And this is where whole food comes in such a winning way. I would choose whole food over these multivitamins every day of the week, every second of the minute, every hour of the day, because it is really, really important to get all the things that come in there. So what we did is a comparative analysis from walnuts to almost every multivitamin out there, and walnuts alone outperform almost all of them, hands down. And you're getting it in a way that nature provides it for you. And you're getting healthy fat and protein and fiber. So whole foods are almost always going to be the best choice. So you will find that almost every day I'm going to get at least a handful of walnuts into my life as a multi, as a way to satisfy hunger, as a way to make sure that I'm getting a little bit. Typically, Walnut Wednesdays is our push. That's the day that we always make absolutely certain we're getting our walnuts, but I'm trying to expand it out to other days of my week. But if you get them in once a week, you're doing yourself such a huge favor. Today is Cashew Tuesday, so I did do cashews today because you're getting a lot of nutrients from those as well, a ton of nutrients, zinc and magnesium and essential amino acids that you need. The walnuts, I do find to be even more prolific. They have a much broader range. So let's look at the 9 things, okay? Number one that they talk about in these ritual vitamins is boron. They're saying that boron is not being represented in the American diet, and it probably isn't. And it's interesting to note that actually, if there's not enough boron in walnuts, they're actually going to create a necrotic condition where they're going to start to fall apart. So you have to have a lot of boron in a walnut for even the walnut to be healthy. So walnuts are an excellent source of boron. Folate, excellent source of folate from walnuts. Iron is one that they're citing. Now, this is really interesting. Now, iron has to come in a form that your body can utilize it, and you have to have good stomach acid to do that. And when you have raw sprouted walnuts, it makes it a lot easier for your body to absorb and utilize these nutrients as they're coming out as well. Magnesium, walnuts, excellent source of magnesium. Omega-3. Walnuts are probably the best plant source of omega-3s, and yes, we definitely need a lot more omega-3s. And I want to get down to the vitamin E, because vitamin E is one that I find people tend to go for a fractionated form all too often. And so they even say in there D-alpha tocopherol with mixed tocopherols, and hopefully that does mean that there are all of them. But there are actually 4 of the tocopherols and 4 tocotrienols in a whole food form of vitamin E. always, always, always try to balance out, if you are taking a supplement of vitamin E, with a whole food form like walnuts, because it's going to give you all of those. And when you start just going with one and not all of them, you start to create an imbalance and actually a deficit in those other aspects of it that are really important. Now, there is some D3 in that, and vitamin D is best gotten from the sun if you can get a little bit every day. And we are finding that there are a lot of reasons that people aren't having adequate levels of vitamin D, and one of them is just not enough sunlight exposure. One is not enough magnesium to be able to utilize it, and some of it has to do with your microbiome. So that's a holistic one, but I would definitely shoot for more sunlight for the vitamin D. So would I take this ritual? No, I wouldn't, because I am seeing some fractionated things in there. I'm actually going to get one of them to bring the bottle in so I can more closely scrutinize it. But already I know that I'm going to be much happier taking walnuts as opposed to this, because I'm getting all of them and not just synthetically put in there in random amounts, in the way that it's been prepackaged in nature to be able to get that. So a lot of these multivitamins I'm seeing, if you are having any doubt and you don't know, get your walnuts in there. The only things that you're going to be missing if you're not getting a walnut are going to be vitamin D and B12. Okay, and B12, if you are a vegetarian, it's going to be hard to get that. So nutritional yeast is going to be your choice if you're a vegan or vegetarian. But if you're not, eggs are actually a great source of vitamin B12. And the final one micronutrient that I kind of found that is kind of lacking in the walnuts is going to be chromium. And chromium is actually very important for blood sugar balancing. It's incredibly important for the pancreas. Now, chromium is going to come from all kinds of other foods, but if you're going to try to make sure you're getting the best and most amount, broccoli turns out to be a really good source, and eggs, again, turn out to be a really good source of that. So getting all of these substances from whole foods is really not that difficult. We really don't have to have like 100 different things in the menu to be able to make up for the deficits that they're trying to give you in these multivitamins. So get a little bit of egg in there if you are an egg eater. Get some walnuts in there every day if you are able to do so. And get some sunlight, and you're covering way more than you're getting in any nutritional supplement that I've seen brought in here. So focus on building those into your life. Other nuts are great too. Walnuts just tend to be the champion overall. And I know that depending on what your needs are, you're going to want to blend in. I do Brazil nuts, and I do cashews, and I do pistachios, and macadamia nuts, and sunflower seeds are great too. So you want to get a good variety, but if you do nothing else and you add those in, you're covering so many bases, and you're satisfying other aspects of your needs, like you're getting proteins in there, you're getting all the essential amino acids in there. So think in terms of whole foods first, always, always, always. And if it's as simple as that, that's going to be my recommendation overall. Okay, were there any other questions that we had live today? I know we have some questions that we're going to have to look up. Oh yes, we had a question about body odor. Thank you. Also, there was in their swag bags, they received a native deodorant, which is a fantastic one, and we're really, really excited that they're doing such good things with that, and we definitely encourage that to be the choice. However, one thing to think about is that you shouldn't necessarily be having an odor, and if you are and you're just covering it up, you're missing a sign from your body that something else is missing. And my first thought is, are you supporting your kidneys? Are you supporting your body's ability to eliminate these things that your body's trying to push out through your sweat and actually creating a stench? Now, there can also be a probiotic element that is going to be affecting your microbiome that will create an odor when it's coming out. But we want to focus on primarily making sure that your kidneys are getting the love and attention that they deserve, so that you can be eliminating things through your bladder and your bowels as opposed to trying to push them out through the skin. So just a different way to think about it. If you're constantly feeling like you have to be covering up a smell, then possibly start giving your kidneys a little bit more love, because that's a sign from your body that something isn't functioning quite the way it should be. And of course, drinking more water is going to be important, but there are a lot of foods that are going to be good for supporting your kidneys as well. Asparagus comes to mind. It's a seasonal thing that we want to be looking at this time of year, but there are many other things that you can do to support that. But just put that in your brain if that is something that you're consistently looking at and something that you might want to investigate a little bit further. Okay, and we do have one question here. What are top foods and supplements for weightlifters and those consistently putting muscle under stress? Great question, Jennifer. Thank you. So if you are a weightlifter, one of the things that people think about when it comes to building muscle is making sure you're getting tons of protein. And I do think that is important, but more important than that is making sure that you are digesting the protein. So be very aware of whether or not you're having any burping, belching, gas, bloating, definitely passing gas. Those are signs that you might not be digesting and getting the full use out of all that. So making sure when you are eating that you're eating in a rested state. But also you do want to support your adrenal glands. Your adrenal glands are, if you're working out really heavy, you are pushing them a little bit more than probably what they were designed to do. So you want to make sure that you're giving them what they need, because you definitely want your testosterone to be able to be produced in adequate amounts, because testosterone is going to be very important for muscle building. So in that lane of thinking, you do want to make sure you're getting adequate vitamin D, because vitamin D is going to be very important to testosterone production, and making sure that you are getting magnesium, because that's also going to be associated with that as well. I hope that's answering your question. And if you need more specifics on that, Jennifer, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to go deeper into that, but maybe I'll get into that more deep next time to kind of give you a complete list of the top foods. So foods for adrenals would be making sure you're getting whole food vitamin C. So make sure you are getting some type of either strawberry or bell peppers or kiwi, something that's going to give you a whole food vitamin C, because your adrenals really need that as well. But a lot of healthy fats. Walnuts would actually be a great choice for people to make sure you're getting your healthy fats and a lot of these micronutrients, quite honestly. But I'll create a top food list for those people doing that for next time. Okay, if there's no other questions right now, thank you all for watching. Hi Sarah, thank you for watching. And thank you all for continuing to watch and to share this information with other people. Keep those questions coming, because the most important thing to understand is that the more you know about how your body works, the more you're going to be able to keep yourself avoiding a lot of aches and pains that are unnecessary. And that's really our goal, is to make sure that you're being able to find ways to apply this to your life in simple ways to be able to make your life as enjoyable as possible and as pain-free as possible. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on Thursday.